This episode is brought to you by Loot Crate. Would you classify yourself as a geek, gamer, or pop culture nerd? Then this is the subscription box for you. For less than $20 a month, you get 6 to 8 items of gamer and pop culture licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique one-of-a-kind items, and more. Make sure you head to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the offer code kindafunny to save $3 on any new subscription. Not that long ago, and depending on where you live, not so far away, Loot Crate blasted off into a voyage across the galaxy, searching the far reaches of space to find universally awesome gear. Using December's Star Wars The Force Awakens loot as the launch pad, we landed on some equally cosmic items from Halo 5 and more. With an exclusive Funko Pop and an exclusive t-shirt in this month's crate, this is the loot you're looking for. Basically, Loot Crate is like a friend who knows what you love and surprises you with an awesome present every month. You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate, and when the cutoff happens, Jackie boy, that's it. It's over. So go to lootcrate.com/kindafunny and enter the offer code kindafunny to save $3 on your new subscription today. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I am one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer. He's back, Nick Scarpino.
I missed you guys.
We missed you too. Oh, hey, claps.
Thank you. It's hard being out of the game. I'll say that right now. We talk a lot about vacationing and how it causes probably more anxiety than it's worth.
Sure.
I had a great time, but about a day and a half into it, I was like, I gotta check Twitter. I gotta get my phone. I gotta get on Wi-Fi. I gotta start doing something. I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
But I figured it out.
I was talking to my girlfriend, and she was like, there's something fucked up with you guys. Whenever I'm like, oh, how's Nick doing? Your answer is, yeah, he just wants to be back doing stuff. And when it's like, oh, so we take a week off or whatever for Thanksgiving, and the entire time you just want to go back to doing stuff. It's like, to you guys, vacation is the work part. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of how it is.
Vacations becoming more and more fun for me as time goes on. Like this year, vacations were actually really good.
That's good.
When we were back at IGN, I had this constant guilt trip that I only put on myself that no one else put on me, that I have to constantly be working. But now that we own this company, I'm just like, well, I'm going to go on vacation. I'm really going to enjoy myself. And we were just talking that next year in April, Greg and I are going to Japan. Japan. And we were trying to see if we can get the entire Kind of Funny crew and significant others to go.
I would
Kind of Funny
probably
does
be
Japan.
okay if I had vacationed with you guys. Having said that, it would not have been it wouldn't have been a vacation. We would have just talked about work the whole time. So it was great in that, like,
For the record, Maddie Kerr is here. I feel like this is the long Nick intro.
Sorry,
Pure
guys.
with Tim Gettys.
Hi.
Pride along on Colin Moriarty.
There's going to be like 30 seconds of like, who is this
And
guy?
Patreon supporter Maddie Kerr. Thank you, Maddie.
Hey,
For all
guys.
your support.
Hey,
all right,
thanks for
continue
coming
into your thing now, yes. If you would have, it would have worked.
No, the thing is, my wife was right. She was like, you need to get away. You guys work really, really hard. Every once in a while, you have to just kind of get away and recharge. And that's exactly what happened. I didn't watch any TV. I barely checked my phone. And I ended up reading a lot.
A day and a half in, you were checking your Twitter.
I made myself, it was very sparse, right? So, like, for the most part, I left the phone in the room. And I read a lot, and I recharged, and I wrote a little bit, as you guys know, for some stuff we have upcoming. And it was fun, man. It really was good to just kind of sit back and recharge. It didn't do me any favors, though, that it was a hugely important and crazy busy week for you guys that when I planned this last January, I just didn't see coming. Namely, we had the Game Awards,
right,
which you were at, which
I won.
You were the
Thank
bell
you
of the
for your
ball.
support.
He won
Best
Game
friends.
of the Year.
I
Greg
am
Miller.
Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I have the trophy right here.
A lot of applause
There he
to
is.
say.
There he
Just
is.
we're,
It's like a State of the Union.
I like it.
His
Do I need to
little pee-pee
stand up?
came
I think I'm going to break something. What's this weird rat?
But yeah, so I mean, it would have helped maybe to take it on a, if I'd have gone for 3
There's
or 4
always
days, it
going to be
was fun.
something.
I
Every
know.
week
always
there's something
something
going on
else.
for us.
I know.
But
that's-
last week was
The week.
was
That
a
was a
week,
big
man.
What was it, PSX?
Yeah. Game Awards, PSX.
So it was Greg Miller winning a fucking award, which is amazing, and giving an amazing speech
Great
that everyone's
speech.
super happy about.
Just
It was PSX,
bigotry.
aka Kind of Funny Live 1.5,
Right.
which was amazing. And then there was the Batman v Superman trailer.
Oh, right.
One of our most successful videos that we've ever made.
Who would have thunk people want to hear me talk about Batman?
Where
v
Greg
Superman?
loses his goddamn mind because he's Greg Miller.
Yeah.
Leading right into the Game Awards. It was just a whole This is your week, Greg.
Yeah,
Enjoy
I know.
it.
I had
It doesn't
no,
get better than
there
this.
was that we announced and got to show the first footage of me in the Lego video game. Lego, you came up with
That's
Arthur
really
Parsons.
cool, man.
Yeah.
I got
You're a boss, right?
Right? Yeah.
And I gotta
Aldrich
say,
Killian.
to Greg's
Lego
credit,
Marvel The Avengers.
because voice acting, I've talked about how I just want to be like a voice in an NPC in a game once, just like one time. Because voice acting is really hard. I would just be me, you know?
Can I give you some lines right now for you to say?
You sure?
I need you to say the line.
Okay.
Huh? What was that?
Huh? What was that?
Yeah, you're nailing
And
it.
then you gotta
nailed it.
say, I guess it was nothing.
Yeah. What? Or if I'm a Grand Theft Auto, NPC, it would be like, well, watch where you're going. Something like
Yeah,
that.
you nailed it.
I'd be pretty good at it.
Driving like a moron.
Yeah. You want me to say that?
Yeah.
This is driving like a moron.
You're
It's pretty
done.
good. Pretty good.
Perfect. You're
it's
nailing
great.
it.
Hire
We
me.
just gotta wait for Grand Theft Auto Long Island
Right,
when it
right.
eventually come
The
out.
Island.
Just-
Grand Theft Auto The Island.
What if you are killed? What's that noise?
That sounds like me. I'm actually having an orgasm.
That's great because you're
like
cost
it.
effective.
Right,
You get
right,
two
right,
lines
right.
for one. Two more bang for your
God.
buck.
no.
And then a Venezuela comes in.
But what I was trying to say is that especially the first line Greg delivers is actually really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
You know,
You can emote.
he's a
As they say.
complete hack otherwise, but
Emote.
that one line was pretty good.
I had great voice direction from the one and only Liam O'Brien, who's a voice actor who's been around the block.
Did he
and
really
does
help
very
you?
stuff. Yeah, 1,000%.
Were you awful or something when you got?
It's not. I think I
I'm curious about
delivered.
this.
The lines were fine. Like my lines for like the boss fight when I'm yelling at Tony Stark and all this
Throat
stuff.
was a little tight.
Throat was a little tight. He came in and massaged that with his tongue. No, that was all normal and fine. And he's like, "Oh, I did this." What was really fascinating was I do like a long line. He's like, "Well, I liked the first part of that. Can we do the second part?" And then he would immediately piece it together right there. Like, you know how we edit and it takes forever. He had an audio tech that was just like swinging things around in 2 seconds. But it got weird when then it was like, all right, let's jump to the next page. And there was like an Excel grid of like, ugh. And he's like, all right,
yeah.
so now you've fallen from a stoop. Now you've fallen from 2 stories, and now you've fallen into a bottomless
What are those
pit.
called? There's a word for them.
Wilhelm screams.
No. Efforts. They're efforts.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're called in VO land.
And then there was a lot of stuff of like in the Lego games, like the characters emote and talk in the game without talking sometimes. So it's like that, like a lot of that. And so there was when we got to that page of just the weird stuff, he was doing the work. He's like, all right, give me this. And he'd be like, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I would just parrot him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he was great.
Not to jump in, but I think one of my biggest pet peeves is in a game why did they choose to only record like 2 lines or 3 lines, and then they start looping and it takes you out of it.
Yeah. They always do that.
Because they only have so much time.
I know.
They only have so
It's
much
all
money.
time and money.
A lot of games that are pay attention to that though, and you don't notice that stuff.
Yeah.
Which is good. But no, congratulations on that. I think that was really cool.
It was a hell of a week. We had 4 days there that were jam packed.
Hell of a week for you, really.
No,
You know?
but
I mean, it was for all of us, but I mean, especially for
what's
you.
good for the goose is good for the gander.
Oh, man. I
Now
like
show
it.
me your goose
gander.
butthole.
I'm
not
your
your
gander.
I'd rather
So
show you
here's
my
the thing.
gander.
Colin and me have completely opposite versions of this. Where Colin's like, nah, like I'm your boy and whatever, but nah, I ain't taking this shit. I'm like, I am your gander. Take me with you. Say my name whenever you want to say my name. I'll take it.
my name.
See, it's because I
Say, baby, I love
He fits right in.
But again,
Can we talk
Say
about
the little
Orange
lady.
Room? Beyonce in the Orange Room with
Yeah. Destiny Child. DC.
Daddy like.
Those are the old days. Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah.
I always get them confused with TLC.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
That's
say
blasphemy.
I thought you were gonna say
And
LFO.
racist.
LFO.
Nick, I'm glad you're here actually now because you weren't here for this. During Greg's acceptance speech. I don't know if you noticed. That I was thanked. I was just like one of the guys
Put
that
you right
was
in
just
there.
thanked. And,
You know
it was like,
Kevin.
Thank you, my beautiful girlfriend Christine.
Crowd
love of my
loved
life,
that.
Christine.
Yeah, I know, right?
Also,
She had a
thank-
huge pop.
Really weird.
Also, thank you, Nick, Tim, Colin, and Kevin. I was like, oh,
I
Colin.
emphasize
Nicole.
Kevin. I
It's
emphasize
just like
Kevin.
it's look.
Yeah,
One
like
day,
I'm just a piece of
you
shit.
were essentially a comma between just like Tim, Nick.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
that was nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
I
It was
would
nothing.
have honestly expected him to say, and last, but certainly not least, my platonic man toy. My what does he call you? My
hetero life mate.
hetero life mate, Colin, without whom life would cease to exist.
No, I was just
Something
one
along
of the
those lines.
guys. But it was all good. I was busting Greg's balls too because at Podcast Beyond, I couldn't go to Podcast Beyond 400. And I watched it later, and he was like, he mentioned it once that no one else was there, and he's like, "Oh, Colin, Nick, and Tim couldn't make it," and I'm like, This was our show. You're not going to give me a special shout out. I'm just one of the
I didn't
fucking.
give anybody a
I'm just
shout
one.
out.
I'm just one of Greg's little schmucks out there now.
I'm the gander. I'll take it.
Thanks, Tim.
Look, it's like
You're
this,
welcome.
man.
Thank you, Tim.
Every one of us at some point just becomes Greg's stepping stool,
Right.
and that's just the way it goes. And
I won't
the
forget
bigger,
you guys when I get to the
No,
top.
I mean, you will.
Yeah, I know.
You're like still near the bottom.
I know.
and you've already and we're like below the bottom.
I know.
Right.
Which makes me scared for when you do get to the top because you're only giving me a
You're a
point.
fossilized remain beneath the mantle of the earth.
I'm going to be like a footnote in your biography.
Oh yeah, totally. And then also this other guy quit with him. He's dead,
Why did I die?
But I'm gonna get a lot of
crushed
mentions.
by coffee beans.
It's interesting.
It was a freak accident.
No, but for real, I love the we were busting balls about this on Colin and Greg. You would have gotten hysterical. The Colin and Greg episode was really
It was
funny.
good.
And because I was just busting Greg's balls over and over again about it, and people came up with some really great shirt designs that we should sell. Where it's
right.
where the shirt, the shirt just
the
says
blank and?
yeah,
No,
just
no,
like it says Nick and
no, it was
Christine
Christine
and
and-
Nick and Tim and Kevin and Nicole.
Nicole.
And like no, because the Crystal Dynamics artist, but no Colin. I think that's so brilliant. I really want that to be the next shirt.
We should do it. Sure, let's do it. That can be T-shirt Tuesday for next month. If you didn't know, this is the Game Over Greggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather around this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny where you can support us, let us live our dreams, and get each and every episode early. If you have no way to support us, don't worry. Go to youtube.com/kindafunny where we post it topic by topic, day by day, until the entire show is free on Fridays as one big video and one big MP3.
Big, beautiful MP3.
I can tell you right now, Tim, this one's worth $1.
oh.
Matty Kerr's fitting in great.
Hey, it works out.
Yeah.
Here I am. Fucking Bart Simpson came out of nowhere. Jesus Christ.
No, I like you though. I like you a lot.
Hey,
You fit
thanks.
in. You have a good voice. You have a good just
Energy.
energy to you.
Yeah.
That's
I
You
ran
got the
here.
song
so
"Say My
I'm
Name" stuck in
sweating.
my head now.
Nick,
Yes.
what's your topic?
I got to lead off with the new Batman Superman trailer.
You loved it like I did.
I did not particularly care for this trailer, and I've watched it a few times now in
Yeah.
preparation for this.
Sure.
What I can only assume is going to be war between you and I.
Sure.
It's very
I
civil
just
right
started
now. It's very
unfollowing
cute.
people when they
It's
were
very
like, I don't like it. I'm like, I don't want you. I don't want the haters in my parade. But today I can't unfollow you, so
I know.
I have to
can
fight
try,
now. You're
but I'll
backing
just
me into a corner.
hack your phone.
It's like Karate Kid 3 when he killed that guy by kicking him too hard.
That was dark.
I think that was Roadhouse. I think that was very good. I didn't like the actual way the trailer was put together, and I think that was part of the reason why I didn't really vibe with it. I didn't like the somewhat liberal use of Jesse Eisenberg in it. I thought that his lines came off to the point where it almost made me think, is this really what this movie is going to be about? Like, am I going to have to deal with that level of care of Eisenberg the entire time? And is he going to ruin the movie for me? Like, when you walk out of the theater and you check Twitter, is everyone going to say Jesse Eisenberg ruined this movie? And that was from that trailer.
Say
is
Zack
kind
Snyder
of,
did.
Yeah, it's gonna.
no, they won't say that. The one, then it'll be Zack Snyder's fault, of course. But
Of course, everything's his fault.
but I mean, I think going back and watching it again, I'm like, okay, it's got more of a playful style than I'm used to. I was expecting it to be a little bit more along the lines of Dark Knight, but because some of the other trailers leading up to it were really serious, you
Yeah,
know.
I still think that Matt's in there.
But then we get to the line of, "Is she with you? I thought she was with you. Hey, do you want to go get a cup of coffee? Yeah, let's be best friends." It was just, it kind of came off. It comes off a little like It makes me a little scared that they're not going to be able to nail that tone, you know? Because that's a very, very thin line of like, if a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, and this whole thing's going to come off as fucking cheesy and campy, and it's not going to have the intensity that I need it to have, you know?
Yeah.
Especially since that, you know, the Marvel universe is supposed to be what it is, and the DC universe is supposed to be kind of a little bit darker, right?
From what we've been able to
What
cobble
we've seen,
together,
so.
yeah.
So, I mean, that was my take on it. I mean, I don't know if... Obviously, well, I'll reserve judgment for when I actually get my butt in the theater, but the Lex Luthor character is the one that is most concerning for me. I got to see how that plays out.
What don't you like about him?
I
Just
don't
the
like that
the voice.
he is goofy. He's just like, he seems like more closer
He's
to
a-
the Joker than he is
yeah.
to Lex Luthor.
He's like
I
a-
see that.
He's an eccentric, like, you know what? I mean, the funny thing about it is what you're saying is interesting because Max Landis is convinced that Jesse Eisenberg is just doing an impression of him.
that is,
And
that
like
is
that's
possible.
I mean that's the kind of he's trying to be this eccentric billionaire, billionaire who's like this Facebook money kind of kid, like this tech
Isn't that
mogul.
probably a more accurate representation of like what that kind of character in today's world
think
would
so,
be?
right?
Like
He
this
wouldn't-
weird, scrawny.
He's not just
goofy,
some suit,
socially
he's some
awkward.
suit at the top of a building who has all this money.
Yeah, I just worry that character is hard to nail, right? And we've been burned before. Let's not forget
Kevin Spacey.
the great Kevin Spacey debacle of circa 2000.
I mean that was I mean I don't blame his
I can't remember.
performance as Lex. I blame the fact that they just said do Superman 1 again, and he was like, "Oh, I like well, I want land." Well, okay, good. Glad
true.
that's still
true.
happening.
Other than that, there were some awesome moments in the trailer, though.
Yeah.
Namely, like getting to actually see them battle back and forth, and knowing that I think they've done a good thing so far as the story is concerned, with knowing that he's going to not be able to win that fight, and so there's got to be another reason why he's doing it, and I like that idea because you got the moment in the trailer where he says, "What do you like? Stop." I could have killed you already if I wanted to. Just stop like what you're doing. And you see basically Batman get his ass handed to him for the most part. But then there's the inclusion of Wonder Woman, which is the big wild card in this whole thing. Is like, how are they going to start integrating all these people? When in the Marvel universe, they had like 6 movies before they decided to do Avengers, give or take. We're just seeing Wonder Woman for the first time here, and she just pops up in the trailer, and I'm like, is that really how she's gonna? They're gonna set her up a little bit. Obviously, we're gonna see her at a party or whatever, as her alter ego, but I don't know, man. It all just kind of seems really fragmented and frayed right now, and I really want to see how they pull it all together.
Okay.
So for you, though, was it just the fact that, like, all of the elements are there? You know, like maybe you're staring at the recipe and it's all laid out on the counter. You're like, hopefully they put it together correctly.
I mean, my whole thing, my only criticism of the trailer is the fact that they gave away too much. Now, here's the thing: is when I was freaking out in the reactions video with Tim and everything else, and that night and did that matter to me? No. Right now, does it matter to me that much? No. Like, it would have been cool. Like, what I was doing is, have you seen this? I haven't watched it. Reddit did a re-edit of the trailer where then everybody said it fixed it or whatever. Have you seen this? You want to see it?
Sure.
Let's see what happens.
All right.
For everybody at home who are watching this thing, you can just Google. This is the spoiler-free fan edit. Right now, we're getting a sweet ad.
Oh, fun.
You know what? I love these
I like
ads.
to start with the very delicate piano.
Well, it's kind of similar to how
This is
the
the
trailer
fan
is.
edit. Exactly. Fan edit. Ah, jeez. We gotta get to this thing. This is the advertisement. But no, like that. My only thing is like it gave away too much. And it's like, okay, but I don't hate that. It got me hyped for real. I still want to see them fight Doomsday. And how are they going to do that?
They gave away way too much.
Is
I
it
think.
Wraith and blah 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 blah? It hinted at a lot. I mean, I don't know. We'll see where it all comes down. And
I
stuff.
mean, I think the thing is, it gave away way more than I thought it would, but there's still so much we don't know. There's so many heroes in this damn movie that we haven't seen yet. So I don't think it gave away everything, and people are acting like, we know the whole movie. It's like, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah.
You haven't seen 50% of the motherfuckers in this thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like with Civil War, like I like the Civil War trailer that they didn't show Spider-Man. I hope they don't show Spider-Man.
I really hope they don't show
in
Spider-Man.
any trailer. And like they're probably going to, because that's how movies work.
But that's the reason I'm concerned about the movie. I'm excited about it. I think the trailer was 80% really good. I was really quite intrigued. I was way more intrigued by watching Greg watch it.
Definitely.
Most people were.
But to me, that's why I'm concerned, is because they already showed such a dense amount of the movie that how are you going to flesh out the entire movie and all these characters and make them work in 2 hours or 2 hours and 10 minutes, whatever it's going to be, when it already seems like there's enough density in this one trailer for 2 movies.
I really feel like all you have to do in this movie is flesh out Batman and Lex. Wonder Woman has 2 scenes, I imagine. The party thing we've seen where she's there, we introduce her. Oh, this is Diana. Why? Well, she's talking, blah, blah, blah. They don't know her clearly in Wonder Woman fashion yet. And then she shows up in the end to help him fight this thing. Or
and then
whatever.
Donna Justice is not Donna Justice, Justice League.
Yeah, and she has her own movie that
Yeah.
they started shooting also.
Do you actually like Zack Snyder as a filmmaker
I do.
and his visual style?
I do.
You enjoy that?
Yeah.
So is this just seeing everything that you've wanted for 30 years come to fruition? Is that just what? It doesn't matter what they're saying in the trailer. It doesn't matter how cheesy the lines. It doesn't matter what they look like. Is that just it could be anything and you would be excited?
No, because I mean, I think you could make a bad trailer, and I would think, what? Like it took me a while in the first trailer to see great things.
I
or
almost
whatever.
felt that the tone in the first trailer felt so much more grounded. I definitely, and I'm not a comic reader. I honestly have never been really big into comics, but I think sometimes like we've lost this idea that comics are fun. They kind of are playful. And I mean, you may know this better, but would Batman and Superman have that kind of moment? Wouldn't that be like a playful thing?
That's the thing, is like the animated series.
I don't know if it just comes
That's what this
into this is a film that everyone wants to be gritty, that there's a moment they're having some fun. They're fucking guys with superpowers. Of course they're going to have fun.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and that's what I have to kind of wrap my head around, right?
Yeah.
Is that I don't know. Like, the problem with that is this. The movie that preceded it is Man of Steel. That's all we have to go off of. And Man of Steel was very much not that.
Did you like Man of Steel?
I liked Man of Steel. I wanted to love it. I wanted it to be the same reaction I had when I watched the trailer 50 fucking times for that movie before it came out. And I cried when I heard Russell Crowe give that, like, the rousing fucking speech, and then I was like, wait,
They'll run towards
there's
it.
the exact same trailer with Kevin Costner instead of that. I'm like, fuck, I gotta listen to that. And I like went back and forth and debated which one's better. Russell Crowe, hands down. But that movie was serious. That was a sci-fi movie. That wasn't let's like, there was one or two little nods to like, let's have a little fun with this, which is like, what does that stand for? He's like, it stands for hope and whatever, and the microphone buzzes and things like that. So we had those small little moments, but this looks more like a buddy cop film. Like,
I mean, I just don't agree, because I think Man of Steel did have those moments just overlooking him. He spikes a drone in front of the general, and he's like, "I'm from Kansas. It doesn't get more American." And then she's like, "He's hot." And it was those were fun moments of levity after just leveling a fucking city. You know what I mean? Like, that was the other thing too. They're making out in the dust that is literally people. There's plenty of other things that are not like super serious and grounded in Man of Steel.
Yeah, but there was a tone, right? There was a tone of, like, when you think of that movie, do you think of it being more like the animated, like Justice League, the animated series, or do you think of it being closer in tone to a sci-fi film? Like,
Oh no, it is a sci-fi film.
right. So this doesn't look.
Oh my fucking god! Spike your phone and get it out of here. No one needs a text right now.
Nothing gets more American than that.
So I mean, that's gonna be my thing, and you'll know from the first, like, the first obviously 10-15 minutes where they're going for. But I think that I think that he's probably trying to go for a little bit more lighthearted tone, which is.
I mean, yeah, I think they are bringing.
Was this
more of
them
that in there.
chasing Avengers and trying to fit that family-friendly
I
fun?
mean, it's
No,
it's
no
mixing.
way.
Or
It's
do you
Avengers
think-
mixed with Dark Knight, because it is that dark. They're trying to like match that, but they're not doing that, and they know that. There's no way they're doing that because it's not grounded in reality. We've known it's not grounded in reality since Man of Steel. So it's like, all right, we take that, but then there is the Avengers, Captain America, like watch your language type jokes and stuff, which it's cringy.
That was super cheesy.
But it's cheesy and cringy, but it's not. Like, that's the point.
Yes.
You can't write these characters differently.
Yeah, but I think you can, though, and that's my problem, is that you watch what they're doing in the animated world, and they can get super serious with them, right? And so it's like, how it's really hard, I understand, to translate that level of intensity over to live action, because you are at the end of the day dealing with Ben Affleck in a batsuit and Henry Cavill playing Superman. Like, at a certain point, you have to just be like, this is probably as far as we can go with this.
But
You
even
know?
the animated show, like, I mean, there's no animated show. No matter what, even the movie, like the DC animated movies, like they still have those.
I mean,
moments. Like, it's still
no,
cheesy. and
I mean,
corny.
there-
even the
yes.
Dark Knight, him in the thing. This isn't a car. Like,
Well, that was bad. That
Does it come in black?
yeah, like stuff like that. Like that's. I don't think that's bad.
but when
Then
you
he hacks
use those,
everybody up with an axe.
when you use those moments, it's comic relief, right? It's the movie. If you watch The Dark Knight again, there is an underlying level of tension in that film that slowly raises all the way, like, and basically jumps a level every time we see the fucking Joker.
And do you
right?
think that the trailer matches that?
for Dark Knight?
Yes.
I can't remember the
Because
Dark Knight
one thing I
trailers.
think with Zack Snyder, the trailer that was first, or maybe it was just the teaser, the one with like the cape blowing in the wind and like the butterfly and everything was so like emotionally
Oh, you're talking about for Man of
subtle.
Steel?
Yeah, Man of Steel.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't think that trailer, I mean, maybe it was just trying to excite people, but that trailer did not match that movie at all.
100%.
And so now
I wish it
I'm
had,
worried that, is this just a thing with Zack Snyder or with the people who edit the things, or is this just all marketing?
Isn't that the thing that they say about him, is that he makes great trailers?
Yeah,
Well, that's what- yeah, that's
like-
what the
and-
internet
and
says.
trailers.
And that, so let me give you a little bit of perspective as someone who doesn't really know anything about this stuff, because this is because I think it's
not
gonna,
your
because I think frankly it's gonna be valuable to maybe not most of our listenership, but most of the people are gonna see this movie. It doesn't matter what happened in any of the comic books or what this is based on or the animated series, because no one cares. Like that's number one. So like this is like one of those things where like the precedents aren't important, just like the precedents that were set, say, by the Schumacher fucking Batman movies weren't important, because no one gave a, like, that was just their own interpretation really of what was going on in the 60s, as opposed to the more grounded Burton movies, and then obviously like the masterpieces that the Nolan trilogy were, I think. So like, those are all disconnected from each other, and normal people that see all those movies know that they're all different, but they don't know why. And so you have to like look into like people walking into this movie, like my father, for instance, who's going to see it, I'm sure, and who was excited about it. He likes watching a lot of movies, and he's not a superhero, but he's going to go see this, and he's not going to have any of this context. And so that's going to be the normal person that's going to go see it. Mm-hmm. So, and that's kind of me too. I have more context in the Batman, I guess, but I'll tell you what I like about it. And what I like about it is I like Ben Affleck as Batman, and I like
He
Henry
looks good in
Cavill
the
as
suit.
Superman.
I like
And
him
like
too.
I especially like Superman. Like I'm actually really into it. I was telling Greg that we've seen these two shots before from the previous trailer, but that shot of him descending in front of the Capitol building is fucking awesome. That's an awesome fucking shot. And the other shot of him like in what looks like Hurricane Katrina or whatever, where
Saving
he's
the woman,
backlit
yeah.
or whatever. I'm
Like
like,
a
these are
god.
amazing shots. Finally, the technology can make Superman look the way he's supposed to look, I think. And I have to say, I really like Lex Luthor. Like, I think that he's really like super unsettling and fucking weird. I love that one shot of him when he like puts his hand on the girl's head and like, and he's like it's a 3-letter or a 3-syllable word for whatever, and like
for what people can't understand.
yeah, like, and I'm like, that seems tonally from what I know about Lex Luthor, kind of in like it kind of resonates with me as somewhere. I'm like, I was telling Greg, I'm like, I like this character. Like, Lex Luthor is an interesting, unsettling fucking psychopath. Clearly, you know. So I don't think you have to have like the brooding, weird man at the top of the fucking tower,
Ford
you know,
building,
like necessarily. That's my interpretation. I don't know if most Superman fans feel like that because I don't have a connection to that character. But I will say what I'm super concerned about with the movie and why I think I'm going to see it. I'm excited about, but I think it's going to be maybe mediocre. It's just too dense. I agree with you that end scene is fucking campy as hell, and that's something that DC needs to get away from because their characters are inherently campy compared to you know, the more overtly over the top X-Men or Avengers, or whatever, with their fucking, you know, Captain America with his suit or Wolverine with his claws. That's corny. Like these guys are supposed to be a little more like not grounded because Superman's not grounded, but they're normal people. So that seems like there's a dissonance there with like that, and especially Wonder Woman, who I think like is just corny as hell. Like, I'm sorry, like that, like just corny as all hell. Like that scene is so fucking stupid to me with their shield. And they're like, who brought it? Like what you were talking about. I'm like, this is so dumb.
It just
So I'm afraid of how they're gonna like pigeonhole or wedge that kind of stuff into this movie, including with Aquaman and other characters that I think are probably gonna be equally corny. When you really have these two pretty strong characters represented by really two strong actors, and that should be the focus. Batman, an older kind of Batman, Affleck, is really fucking cool in this, and Henry Cavill as Superman is totally believable to me. So like, I wish that they would just focus on those things. This movie seems to be too dense, you know, already.
I mean, the problem is this movie, Dark Knight was a movie, Batman Begins was a movie. This isn't a movie. This is a long trailer, and that's all it is. It's like it is dense because all it is just here's a bunch of things teasing out things that are going to happen.
Should it have been just smaller amount of those things and not reveal as much? Like, what if we didn't see Wonder Woman at all? And what if that was the reveal in the theater?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like the movies are just longer trailers at this
But
point.
who's going to be the reveal? I mean, Aquaman, obviously, Cyborg, I guess, is going to be in it, right? So like, you have.
I think don't forget too that I think we're seeing everything out of context.
Yeah.
You're talking about comic relief, right? And if I'm a betting man, it's Doomsday's working these fucking two dudes. Batman's it looks like either the Batmobile or the Batwing is downed. He accepts that he's about to die and he puts up his hands. Wonder Woman jumps into frame, blocks it with a shield, goes fucking full bore at this thing, and they have this fucking amazing fight.
Oh,
knockdown.
yeah, no doubt.
Batman finally gets out and he's like, "Did you?" I think while like she's fucking taking buildings and smashing it. I mean, like I don't think it's as natural as a cut. I think it's gonna work in the film.
But understand why contextually why I brought up that like I'm ignorant about this stuff, but I'm someone who's excited about the movie. And this was something I was talking about with Tim, is that it's a foregone conclusion for some people, for DC fans, for instance, to know that eventually they're going to partner up. But they ruined the tension in that trailer. Like we know that it's like the movie's called Batman versus Superman, you know, and like me going into that, I'm like, I don't have any context, so like I don't know what does that mean. I have no idea what the fuck that means. I love that line where Superman's like, you know, I would have killed you basically, right, if I wanted to. I'm like, that's a really powerful line. Leave it there, you know, like.
That.
Leave it there. And maybe they partner up, or maybe that's obvious to comic book fans, but that's not obvious to me. And I'm telling you that it's not going to be obvious to most of the people that are going to go see the movie. They want to know what that means. And they ruined it in the fucking trailer. They ruined it. They ruined that whole tension, the whole tension of the title. You know, and so you have to kind of like withdraw yourself. It's kind of the way I felt about the G.I. Joe movies when they came out. Because I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan or whatever, where I'm like,
No,
I have
Channing
I have a lot of expectations and a lot of foreknowledge, like foregone conclusions of what this should be and what Storm Shadow should be and what Snake Eyes should be and stuff like that. But when I walked out of the movie, I'm like, that movie sucks. But when some people walked out of the movie, they're like, I don't know anything about G.I. Joe, and that was just a fun action movie. And I'm like, yeah, but I have expectations.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think that, like, so you guys have to kind of remove those because there's just a lot of tension that was ruined. And I think that's a really good way of putting it. And people had put it that way. We're like, well, that sucks, man. That scene shouldn't have been in that trailer. Just that one scene. Even if Wonder Woman's in it in a different way, just that one scene of them working together, I think was really quite stupid.
Yeah,
to
I
put
mean,
in there.
you know, eventually that it's going to be, they're going to build the Justice League, right? I respect what you're talking about.
We might know that, but most people don't, right? Like most people that are going to see a movie don't even know what the fuck the Justice League is.
That's
you know?
probably true. I mean, The trailer was kind of bittersweet for me. I'm hopeful, and I'm also reserved about it for the same reason everyone else is, right? I don't know if they've had enough time to set these characters up so that when and if there are those big emotional set pieces like you're talking about, they will really hit, right? For instance, what you're talking about we need to be invested in those characters, and we need to be invested in Wonder Woman for her to come save the day and for have it make sense. It can't be like a comic book where you're like, you turn the page and all of a sudden Wonder Woman's there for no reason. Like you're used to that in comic book land. In movie land, that is a cardinal sin to just throw a character in. Right, which is it's fine in games, it's fine in these things that have these long legacies. Like take Metal Gear for instance. Like when characters come back from fucking games that like 4 games ago, you're like that was awesome because you understand that.
Sure.
But we don't in the movie world we don't have that yet, right? They're not set up. So that's my one trepidation is I want to love this. I know I'll like it. We're all gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be a good film. We're picking it apart because like Star Wars, it means something to us. I want to fucking love it. Right?
Yeah.
I want to love it.
You
like
never will. It's
like I
impossible,
left
man.
Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Right? It's not because I
It
left Dark
is.
Knight and I was like,
I know, but
fuck,
this
my
isn't
mind was
that.
just blown by that.
This isn't that. Like
I know.
This is an
So
action movie.
I'll settle
Yeah.
for Man of Steel. I liked Man of Steel. I've watched it 3 times since. I'm like, this is a good film. I don't care what anyone says. It's entertaining. It does what it needs to do. I'm hopeful because of all the other shit that's in the trailer that we haven't even talked about yet, which I'm sure you touched on, but like the sort of connection to what's the character? Is it Darkseid? No, Darkseid.
Darkseid, yeah.
Have you heard
Yeah, the
of that?
paratroopers, yeah.
Like that, if they're setting
parademons.
that
I
up,
called it.
that's fucking awesome.
You did? You did say that looks like Darkseid. Great. Not in the reference that we're making, but you are the first person in that I was around who is that Darkseid? I'm like, no, it's Doomsday, and then the paratroopers. I want to keep the troopers.
But so that's what I like about this, right? Is that they are finally going, hey, we can't make a Superman film where he fights a fucking island, right? Yeah. he's got to fight Doomsday, and he has to fight. And that was my big thing, like when Superman Returns came out, and everyone was talking about like, oh, they should have had a character like he should have fought Brainiac or he should have fought Metallo or any of these guys. This is a smart idea. Come out of the fucking gate swinging with Doomsday,
Yeah.
because it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
And then try to go better with Darkseid.
Yeah.
Did you overall watching the trailer after your reaction?
Yeah.
What would you change of it? Anything?
I mean, I would have. No, yes, no. I wish they'd shown less, but I think I wish they would have shown less because I think that's the one main knock so many people have against it. I like it. Here's what I'll be honest with about it, right? Is that I like so many people being negative about the trailer because I think the movie's gonna exceed their expectations. Like I stand by the fact that the Wonder Woman introduction, it won't be as out of the blue as you turn the page. But I mean, like, you're going to see Diana at the ball talking to Bruce because you've already seen that screenshot or whatever image, I guess they call him in real life. And so, like, that's a tip of the hat to anyone who does know that that's going to be Wonder Woman. And then she comes in and does whatever. The scene I'm most excited for that has been teased that we don't know anything about is Jeremy Irons as Alfred talking to Bruce.
Yeah.
Like, we have, like, that one line, or this drives men to madness or whatever. I'm not worried about the focus of this the way I was worried about Spider-Man 3 when I was watching that. I'm like, why are they putting all these people in this movie? What the fuck is happening? This one, I think it's going to be 2 little bits of Wonder Woman that make you go, holy shit, that's awesome. And either she's having the Hulk moment from Avengers where you want more of her, or Aquaman is, and whatever his introduction is going to be. Cyborg, I think, is going to to be there.
The Hawkeye of
No,
the
but
thing.
I mean, I like everything everybody talks about this is like he's still Victor. He's just gonna be there. Like, again, it'll be a nod of, if you know that's Victor, you know he's going to become Cyborg, and that's when you lean over to somebody and say something about it. Or it's just that he's there to establish that he's in this world and Aquaman's in this world. I really think the focus is, people have talked about that, then they tried to draw back from a little bit and explain, is it's a Batman movie. You know what I mean? Superman, we know Superman. Now we have to learn who this Bruce Wayne is in this world, who this Batman is in this world, what's going on with the Robin suit. Is it Jared Leto's Joker? You know what I mean? Like, how do we all tie this into this thing?
Yeah.
I think you're gonna get
about that too.
fucking a ton of that. And I think that's going to be the focus. Meanwhile, we're playing to who Lex is and what's happening with him and what his plan
When
is.
does he lose his hair?
Exactly.
And Topher Grace is Nightwing.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. Great. So my whole take on the trailer is that everyone's biggest thing is that they showed too much or whatever. I think that they had to show that because when you put it up against the Marvel stuff, right, with the Civil War, they needed to outdo that trailer. Like, they just had to kind of gain momentum back. Civil War didn't show too much, but to me, the Civil War trailer, it's just more, which is great, cool. I'm gonna see the movie. I know I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
At this point, we're sold. We're already invested in all this shit. But it's like that trailer. Yeah, if it showed Spider-Man, everyone would be like, oh, But it's like, we don't need that.
Right.
The Batman v Superman thing, I think, did need that because Batman v Superman, they're on the losing team right now. Like, they needed to at least show who's the bad guy. My biggest critique of the people giving critiques of this trailer is the freaking anyone saying that, oh, that's the Ninja Turtles. Those aren't the fucking Ninja Turtles. Those are the stupid
You talking about the part where the Ninja Turtle comes out of the building and goes, "Arr," and then his eyes glow?
Yeah.
That was the Ninja Turtle,
I
right?
hate you so fucking much. But it's like that thing. That's what Doomsday looks like. This is that universe version of Doomsday. Google
So-
Doomsday. That's it.
So I read a little bit about it, and so my first reaction was like, "Oh, I don't like that." But I haven't read the comics. I didn't know that Doomsday has like different forms and like the things grow. So like you can see if you put the horns on him, you're like, that looks exactly like Doomsday.
Exactly.
Fine.
And that's
fine.
kind of my point. And it's like, for anyone that thinks that's what a Ninja Turtle looks
People
like,
are just
fuck you.
people are just being cynical, like and
that's
we've
the
all
internet.
we've all been cynical and are cynical about things. But
Sure.
but the thing is that I'm pretty optimistic about the movie. I'm interested in how it resonates. You know, like Civil War is a culmination of work, right? Or at least one of the culminations of work. There'll be many culminations because they're never going to let this thing die. But like this is already, like you said, an established thing. What I'm concerned about with Batman versus Superman is that if this falls flat or isn't good, it's gonna fuck everything up. Like for that universe, and that's why I was talking to Greg about this. And I know it's leaving money on the table. I know it's not smart business and whatever, but like I wish that DC would just take a different tact and just be like, we're not Marvel, and we don't have we don't do things like they do them. We do things in a more thoughtful way, like in a more sober and solemn way, like we did with the Batman trilogy, where it's like we're gonna do our own thing, and we don't have to make this interconnected, capitalist-driven kind of universe that we're trying to just one-up each other. Like we have our own stories to tell in our own fashion, and now that they're all intrinsically linked to each other, if one of them is really bad, then they're kind of fucked because they're starting from a bad point already, especially with Superman. And that was the thing I was telling with Greg. Like this is Superman's last chance, like with people, I think, in terms of like making him super Marvel type relevant to people. Like they need to nail this. Batman's already relevant because of what Nolan did. So they can possibly ruin him as well, but I don't think they're going to. I think they have a good thing going with Affleck. So I'm super interested to see how that all goes down. But I wish DC would just take a different, more, I don't want to say mature because that's not what I really mean, but it doesn't necessarily be dark and brooding like that. But
You're saying, I mean, you're
But-
just
but-
saying,
but
do
just
not
like
have to get this universe going. Oh, you want to make a Wonder Woman movie? Go make
Yeah,
the
make a
best
Wonder
Wonder
Wo-
Woman
yeah.
movie, however you want
like,
it to
why
be.
do they
but it
all have to
doesn't.
touch each other? You know, like it's
awesome.
Well, I mean,
No,
come on
it's
now.
what comics
it's
are.
awesome. It's awesome if it works.
I know.
It's awesome if it works. It can be disastrous if it doesn't, and that's like why I think they're taking a huge risk. You know, because they could just make a Superman movie or just make a Batman movie or make a Batman versus Superman movie. They don't have to pigeonhole fucking and throw in Cyborg and all these characters in there. And, you know, like we don't, you know, culminating in the Justice League, especially with Suicide Squad, which I'm pretty convinced is going to be bad. Like they just have to be careful because they're chasing Marvel, and they're not Marvel. Like that's why I always liked DC more because they're not Marvel. They're, you know. And Batman especially is so fucking cool. Like, don't fuck with him.
I know.
You know,
I know.
like Batman is so goddamn cool.
Well, the one good grace of Batman though is he survived the Joel Schumacher era, and if you can survive that, I mean that's like surviving a fucking nuclear blast. So Batman will always be cool.
But
it took
also-
it took one of the great filmmakers to
During
do
that time, there was like 2 superhero movies in 5 years.
That's true.
Now
the
there's
superhero
like
genre
15
wasn't a
the
thing.
15
That's
got
true.
released yesterday.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
Batman. Batman's the king.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Batman
Sorry,
will
Greg.
live forever.
I know.
Sorry.
I'm aware of the Google results.
No, but remember that you're right. Like people did look back at Batman Forever and Batman and Robin and stuff, and they're terrible movies. I mean, they're fucking awful. There's some interesting things in them. I like the villains in them. I don't like the way the villains act. I don't like, but I like
Take 2 of these.
Tommy Lee.
the over the topness of it is there's something to be said about that, and he tried, and he tried something that didn't work, and I respect that. But in my mind, Batman was redeemed only because of who was making it and who was acting in those movies. Like Batman could have easily been ruined even more if it was given to someone else. Nolan saved those movies. You know, like Nolan made Batman what it was, and that's why our expectations are really high for this. You know,
Well, I mean, Nolan does in some degree have Joel Schumacher to thank for that because everything's a product of what came before it, right? So the Joel Schumacher films were a direct product of the dark, kind of weird, twisted, fucked up Burton films, and then Nolan came in and was like, well, we can't do either of those, so let's go super real with it. And that was what was so powerful about that. And now they're going the opposite direction. I think they're going in a great direction, don't get me wrong, because I don't think Batman deserves to be 100% real. I think there always is going to be an element of he is a superhuman being, not in form, but
His superpower is that he's Batman.
Yeah, and so like there's got to be a little bit of an air of unbelievability. He should be able to do things that are Batman-esque in that maybe you look over and he's gone, right? And that's kind of a magical, fun thing. Maybe he does that, maybe he doesn't. I don't know, but I think they're angling more toward that feel with this. I just hope they again, it's the hardest thing to do in a film because you don't know. You're talking about something that they've probably, I don't know how many days they shot on Batman v Superman, but I have to imagine it's more than a couple months they put into this. You don't know when you roll the camera the first time what that film's going to be after all that footage and all those special effects. And it's really fucking hard. Tonally, it's like the hardest thing. If you ask any filmmaker, they'll say the hardest thing is to nail that tone and nail that intensity that we were going for because you don't fucking know. You shot that end scene the first day, you know? You don't know. So hopefully they nail it. Either way, I feel like everyone needs to just kind of relax, take a breath, and realize that it's a movie about a fucking guy that can fly and do that dressed up like a bat.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it.
Going back to the original conversation you had about the trailer and it, like how the trailer was made, and you said you didn't think it was that great of a trailer.
Yes.
Like, so my thing with that is I enjoyed it for a trailer. I thought it was fun. It kept my energy up and I was into it. And like, I didn't hate it or love it, but I'm like, cool. That was my thing is this is cool. And I didn't know all the insider shit because like I'm not that hardcore into the DC thing, so I didn't fucking lose my shit in the same way that you would have. My biggest problems with it is that I'm a fan of Zack Snyder trailers, very much so. So
Best
yeah, the
trailers
Man
ever
of exactly Man of Steel
300.
trailer,
That Watchmen
300 trailer,
trailer.
Watchmen trailer, like those are fucking classic trailers. This to me, I put it probably really low on the Zack Snyder thing. Having said that, it's still fucking amazing because Zack Snyder trailers are great.
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
most cringeworthy thing to me of that whole trailer was not the line at the end of the shit. It was, and I was telling you this earlier, it's the
It really
music.
bothered you.
It's really bothered me because I think that it's just like for when you edit the trailer, it felt fucking off. And it took me out of it where it's all this like the classical music
Yeah, yeah.
Is
playing.
it the ding?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it
So-
like looks at his reaction.
So it's the classical music playing at the banquet, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like, oh, then your meeting. This is Bruce Wayne. This is whatever. And it's like it's background music, which is fine. But then the moment's like, oh, this is Clark Kent, and it's like this piano key out of nowhere, where all of a sudden the background music syncs up, and it's like breaking the fourth wall of it. And I'm like, oh, what? I don't like that. It really bothered me because I'm like, this is not a great trailer.
It's unfortunate too because
trailers should not take me out of it that way.
I was watching both of them when I was on vacation, and so I was catching up on all the trailers. I watched Civil War first, and then I watched the little exclusive like clip they had of
The
when
teaser.
he lands and walks
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
grabs him, and I was like, and he was like rips it off, and there's
Yeah.
that fucking insane intensity between the two. And I'm like, whoa, this is gonna be a cool movie. And then I immediately watched the next trailer. I was like, totally different tone. Like watch those two back to back, and you'll be like, what happened? I don't understand what's
Yeah.
going on.
But again, they're the same movie. So it's like Greg keeps saying, like the movie's going to be different. It's not going to be cut that way.
It's true.
So
Very
both
true.
scenes, all those scenes are in that movie.
That is true.
And the other weird audio thing I didn't like about the trailers at the end when it had the like when it showed, you know, the title splashes shit. There's like fucking it goes dun 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 dun, and it's the same
score.
fucking audio
The
loop.
score was a
Not
little,
happy with the score. That was my overall.
Yeah, I
thing.
mean, it might. Again, those are just the trailers they put together too. So that's a whole separate house that's doing those trailers, and they probably it might actually be two different houses that are doing the trailers because there's so much that people have to put out now.
Yeah.
like 9 TV spots, 3 different trailers, sneak peeks, all this shit. So
I'd be interested in who
Zach
edited
can't watch them all. I'm
these.
sure when he was making.
Zach didn't even watch this
Well,
trailer.
no, I mean, I'm sure when
Whatever.
he was making 300, he was like, yeah, I want to go to the actual trailer house and be like, I want to sit there and pick. And it's probably part of his contract. I would imagine that he gets to actually do that. And he probably cared a lot about 300. Not that he doesn't care about this, but that was like his first like chance to really break out and establish himself. And so I'm sure that he was probably really, really pouring over that. But I mean, he probably had a lot more control there than he does with DC.
Sure.
And Warner's probably like, no, we'll fucking, you do what you got to do, and we'll do what we got to do.
Get the movie done.
Yeah, get it done. Get it done,
You got a
Snyder.
date to
I'm
hit.
tired of you. I'm tired of your attitude.
Who's this? Oh, the Detective Lance is
Yeah.
working at Warner Brothers.
Laurel, tell him to hurry up. You're gonna tell me, Laurel, you don't know the arrow. It's so good when you do it. It's because the voice is a little bit off, but your face expression
squint up just
is
like
so
him.
good.
I'm telling you, I can stand in for you any time on the set of Arrow, Detective Lance.
We're gonna have to talk off air about what you think is going on with the Legends of Tomorrow because
I've watched one episode of Arrow this season.
really.
Yeah,
I'm liking
Flash.
it.
I'm
I'm
too
liking it
behind
so
on.
far.
Is this
Supergirl
torture for you?
I'm pretty much all caught up on, except for last
used to at
night's,
this
which I
point.
thought was supposed to be awesome.
I don't
that
mind.
worth
I don't mind.
watching?
Not everything has to be about
Supergirl.
me.
It's fun. It's forgettable. I mean, it's fun. And maybe it's going somewhere. Last night's episode we flipped out about, but they ruined it on Twitter when I'm reading it. But I was like, called it a long time ago. I'm not too worried about that. Kev knows what I'm saying.